It's tournament time. The Gamecocks have got some teams in the tournament. We'll start with softball. They're heading in 7 seed. They'll play the winner of Alabama and Auburn. Claire, what are you looking at? I mean, with their potential matchups there, both teams they're familiar with.
Well, obviously, the South Carolina team has been so successful this season. Not that they've struggled in conference play, but it's been pretty evenly matched because of how good the SEC is. So they won the Alabama series this weekend, which was definitely really important, and especially because that could be their next opponent in the tournament play. But got to give a shout out to head coach Ashley Chastain Woodard. 39 wins this season.
Yeah.
That sets a program record for most wins by a head coach in their first season. So shout out to everything she's done with this South Carolina program. So exciting for her and for this team. And it'll be fun to see them in Georgia, Athens. That's where they're going. Had to think of it for a second. Head down to Athens to play in the first round of the SEC tournament, and that starts on Wednesday.
Now, tournament play, it's a little bit different from the regular season. Obviously, you've got your 3-game series in the SEC during the regular season. This is a bit different. It's one and done. And South Carolina, for as good as they have been, they've also shown that sometimes that first game of the series, they can be slow starters. Are you concerned at all that that could potentially bite them?
I think one thing that we've also seen from this team is that when they do need to bring it, they can, whether it's they're down in a game or down in a series. They seem to really know how to rally back, and they have different strategies to rallying back too. Like, it's not just depending on their pitching. It's not just depending on their power hitting. It's really as a whole team. So I think that they will be very conscious of hey, we got to get out there right away and play all 3 phases. We have to have solid pitching. We have to have the power hitting. We have to have the defense behind that. And I think they'll be aware of that and know that we might not have a tomorrow.
Yeah.
There might not be another game after this. So I think they'll be really locked in for that. And because it has been such a historic season for their coach, I think that's going to play into it too. You have a lot of seniors and 5th and 6th years even on this team. So I think all of that will just culminate into an energy that they're hopefully ready to bring.
Now, I know looking at the regular season, it looks like they're pretty much safe with hosting a regional, even if they do lose. But obviously, winning in that first round would, or their first game would be the second round, would help a lot to handle that. Looking a little bit ahead, not getting too ahead of ourselves, but looking a little bit ahead, they would have Texas A&M on the other side of that Alabama/Auburn game. What do you think about Texas A&M? They're the 2 seed, but I feel like they can be beatable, right?
I mean, you look back to South Carolina in their first SEC series of the year, taking on the number 1 team, and they kept it all 3. They lost the series. They got swept inevitably, but they were all 1-run games. They've shown that they can compete, and all year long, they've been within that top 10, top 15. They're right there with the best teams in the country, and especially in a sport like softball or baseball, it can really be anyone's game at any time. Obviously, you take the longevity of it. That's when you see usually like the better team comes out on top the farther you go. But in places like an SEC tournament, when it is a single game elimination, it can be anybody's time. Yeah. So I think because of how well-rounded this team is, I think that they can compete with anybody.
Especially a game like softball. Like you said, the possibilities are endless with the things that can happen. Now, moving on from that, a little less variance in these next sports that the Gamecocks are competing in this weekend. Women's golf, they're competing in the first round of the NCAA tournament. They're up in Virginia, got the number 1 seed for that group of teams. What's what's the energy like for them, you think, going into this tournament? Never won one before, but they look like they have a chance this year.
I feel like they're such an underrated program for South Carolina. I mean, this is 5 straight years that they have been the number 1 seed. Mm-hmm. Like, that's crazy. Their head coach, 5 SEC Coach of the Years, including back-to-back years this year. 3 of them were on SEC first team. 1 was co-freshman of the year. 2 more on the second team. Like, this is a fantastic program that is right here in Columbia, South Carolina. And I think because it's a sport like women's golf, people don't get as excited about it as women's basketball, football, baseball, softball, that kind of thing. But they have just become such a program of success that they are able to do things like that. Like, it's one thing to be successful 1 year, 2 year, but to create longevity and sustained success is something entirely different. So excited to see them. That tournament, the first round starts Monday in Charlottesville, Virginia. So I'm excited for them.
I'm excited too, especially after watching that game SEC clinching.
Yes.
Put by Ridquist. That was just a thing of beauty to watch, a beautiful putt, and then the celebration after that.
Yeah.
I watched that clip like 20 times. I couldn't get enough of just watching the elation of them complete a goal, and they know they can keep going on and complete more goals.
Absolutely. And I talked before when it came to softball about how much it means to the seniors. But Louise Ridquist, she's a senior herself. But you also have Hannah Darling. Both of them were on the SEC All-First team. Hannah Darling, she's at a program record because she has been on the first team 4 years in a row. Like that's what I mean about that's what I mean about how well-rounded and successful and the longevity of success that this program has that does not get the recognition it deserves. So excited to see them go on hopefully another run in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah. Now, another unsung hero, it seems like. Obviously, women's golf getting started today. Men's tennis, they're already underway, and they're winning. They just beat Florida State. They're on to Stanford now. Stanford is a beast of a program. 17 national titles in their history. Haven't won since 2000.
I think ranked number 5.
Yeah, 5-4. They're a beast of a program. I mean, that's going to be a challenge. From what you've seen from the Gamecocks lately, just SEC tournament, NCAA play, how do you like their chances against a program like Stanford?
I think what's special about them is their ability to battle and stay in it. We've seen a couple matches over the weekend in the first 2 rounds where they went down to start and they stuck in it. Like that's one of those sports that's just like so tough on the body and can be mentally kind of frustrating, I think, and a mental challenge. And so to physically be able to stay in it and mentally be able to stay in it, I think is a huge part of it. And you have to remember too, like, these are outside matches. Like, it was 90 degrees the other day. It was really hot. And honestly, I think that came into a factor in the second round against Florida State because it came down to the final match. And it was really close. I don't remember the numbers off the top of my head, but Florida State's guy got like a full body cramp. And he had to take his allotted 5 minutes and then still wasn't feeling 100%, but because you commit so much to it and because you're in that moment, he's like, I'm not just going to give up. So he tries, and good for him for not giving up, getting back out there, but he was just not physically able to overcome that cramp or whatever injury he was dealing with, and it went South Carolina's way. And I hate that for Florida State, but South Carolina has to take it as, okay, we did what we had to do. Now we move on. It's not going to get any easier from here. And they also have some great leaders on that team. You look at Connor Thompson, who won, I believe, every match he was in over the weekend. And he's a guy that I got to talk to earlier this year as the season was starting. He's overcome a lot of injuries, and that's a guy who would do anything for his team. So love it for him that they're continuing on this run. I think it's 5 straight super regional appearances for them too. So 5 must be the lucky number for our Gamecocks this year.
And like you said, they're gonna fight. Like they had to fight against Florida State. They're gonna fight against Stanford, no matter how it goes. I think if they win, who knows? National championship might be in the future. That might be getting knock on wood. We're getting a little ahead of ourselves here. But what does it say for Jeremiah Donati though? You think? He has had no break with as far as tournament goes.
Yeah.
What do you think?
He walked into a good program. I mean, you had women's basketball obviously win the SEC championship, golf win the SEC championship, equestrian win the SEC championship. All these teams in the tournament now being competitive, being ranked. It came into a good situation. Obviously, baseball is not where they would like to be at this point, but I think that will come with time. Beach volleyball today also announced that their head coach, Moritz, he will not be returning for next year. Women's volleyball in the fall sport has a new head coach, though. She seems really excited, really aggressive in terms of recruiting and getting on top of these things, building the program right from the jump. So I think overall, South Carolina athletics is in a really good spot. And I think A.D. Donati came in at a good time, but I'm also excited to see the moves he does make because he has one hire in volleyball, one coming presumably in beach volleyball. So excited to see where the school continues to grow from here.
I think it's definitely a great spot to be in where you have to make a few hires, but you're not in a spot where you're having to retool the whole athletic department. You have a bunch of SEC champions and you can just make a quick hire or two here to clean up some of the other spots of the program. So